So our problem for today is the sum of two numbers is 240. The bigger number is twice as much as the smaller number. What is the smaller number? So first, I'm just going to break down what the question is asking. So we have two numbers, and when we add those two numbers together, we get 240. However, the bigger number is twice as much as the smaller number. The bigger number is twice as much. So what is the smaller number? So I'm just going to explain this in the simplest way possible. So we have the smaller number, and then we have the bigger number. So this is the bigger number. And so we know that the smaller number is something that we don't know. So this is just a placeholder. But two of the smaller numbers put together makes one big number. So basically, it's the smaller number plus two more smaller numbers, which equals 240. And so here we have two of the smaller numbers, and we have one of the smaller numbers, which means that we have three total smaller numbers. So we can combine this and make three smaller which is equal to 240. So we have these three smaller numbers, and that makes 240. And so we're just putting the 3 here to multiply it to show that we know that there's 3 of these. So we're going to be multiplying the smaller number by 3. And so now what we want to do is isolate the smaller number. We want to get this smaller number just by itself, which means that we have to get rid of this 3. We have to get rid of this 3. And so we're going to get rid of the 3 by doing the opposite of what it is currently doing. So right now, at this very moment, the 3 is multiplied by the smaller number. The 3 is currently being multiplied by the smaller number. And if you know your math, you know that the opposite of multiplication is division. So the opposite of multiplication is division, which means that we can divide this by 3 to get rid of this 3, but whatever we do to this side, we have to do to this side. Whatever we do to this side is what we have to do to this side. It's a common law in math. So since we're dividing by 3 here, we have to divide by 3 over here. So we get the smaller number just by itself. But now you may be asking, so what are we going to do with this? I'll tell you that what we need to do with this is we need to divide 240 by 3. And if you know your division, this should be pretty easy. So we want to create a house, and 240 is going to be inside of that house because 240 is being divided by 3. And so 3 is going to be outside of that house. So if you know your times table, this should be pretty easy. But basically, 3 can go into 24 8 times. Because 8 times 3 is equal to 24. Because we're looking at just this. And we subtract 0 because 24 minus 24 is 0. Next, we're going to bring down this 0. And so now we just have a 0. And the only way to go from 3 to 0 is to multiply by 0. Because as you know, any number times 0 is always 0. So now we have 0. So 0 minus 0 is 0. And we're done. Which means our answer is 80. Our answer is 80. And we can prove that with this.